Namaste. All right, so we have just a shorter yin style yoga practice. This one is all about just taking care of those active bodies with a bit of a focus on low back, hips, glutes, inner thighs, outer thighs, a bit of the hamstrings in there. So hopefully it'll leave the body feeling a little bit more of the love, the touch of love and replenish. So we're going to begin right away. Hopefully we have some props like the bolster, always handy, or a very thick cushion, or a block, or a very thick book. You could use a blanket also in there, or you could makeshift a bolster. What we're going to do is start with stacking two of those props, the block, and then the bolster on top. And we're going to come right into Supta Baddha Konasana, a nice reclined butterfly pose. Super simple to begin. Great place to start. So soles of the feet come together. We lay back over the bolster. We want to really nestle in as much as we can to the bolster beneath and make sure we get comfortable early, because we'll be holding these poses a little bit longer, a few minutes. And right away, just give yourself a chance to arrive. So your eyes might start open today. And allow yourself to just adjust into actually appreciating sight and taking in colours and shapes. And all the patterns, the gift of the eyes. And then notice how you can both sharpen your focus and then soften the focus. So begin to soften it, maybe looking less directly into any one thing and just seeing, just sight itself, the whole picture. And with a nice deep breath on exhale, you might even allow your eyes to close. Noticing sounds. Like me, you might be experiencing rain, lots of rain, which is lovely. What sounds can you hear from all around? Even the most subtle sounds. And then coming into touch, feeling the body, the sensation of maybe heaviness. Where do you feel the most weight in your body? The sensation of the air on the skin. Maybe it's cooling, maybe it's warm. And all of this introspection coming from not so much a place of analysing in detail, but just getting a sense of the actual essence of the feeling, maybe of the fabric of the clothes, the movement of the breath, the body in response to the incoming breath and outgoing. Noticing if there's any aromas or smells. If there's any tastes in the palate, on the palate, or that remain. Maybe just the taste of the saliva. And you soften into the total experience of this moment a little deeper. You imagine just surrendering the physical body 5% more with each breath out. You get a sense of the within experience, energetically or mood. What is the feeling that is within this exterior frame? Maybe it's harmony, calm, stress, or anxiety. Maybe it's just a busy and active mind, and that's all you're really perceiving, and that's fine too. But can you, throughout the practice, come back as the observer or the witness, and maybe remove some of the inclination to analyze or attach or identify with those thoughts and those feelings. So just in the last few breaths, can we just witness the totality of this moment in the inner environment of existence? When you're ready, we're just going to take our hands to the outer thighs and gently bring the knees back closed or to touch. And the best way to maybe come out of this one is just to roll to one side. Support yourself on your elbow. You might take those blocks or props to the side. And we just want to sit down and just windshield wipe through the knees, through the hips. Getting a little bit of love and movement into the hip joint. Anything that feels good. Nice. We're going to set up for our pigeon pose. So there's two options here. Traditional pigeon or a supported pigeon on the bolster. I'm just going to demonstrate both. With our supported pigeon or sleeping swan, we want to step over the bolster and then rest the outer thigh on top of the bolster. The foot comes all the way down flat onto the mat, and we want to make sure the knee's down so we're not leaning back too far. We want to really come over the top of your bolster or pillow, and we can bring ourselves down. Without that, we want to go into a slightly deeper one. We just want to simply come down all the way into that pigeon pose. Option to take a block and place it under the hip. So it'll be just under my hip here to support. So whichever is feeling more aligned for you, we just want to begin by balancing out through the hip. The rain here is incredible, very strong. And then maybe if it feels good, lower yourself down. And then you might take any props you haven't already used to rest the forehead. Or maybe the forehead reaches the floor. But we just want to go back into that idea of surrendering with each breath, softening into the body now that we've found the pose. And inviting this idea of witnessing Noticing the inner and the external sensations. And we'll be here for another 6 or so breaths. See about softening more with each exhale. What happens if within each exhale you had the intention to just release and let go? When you're ready, really with this one to come out, we just want to really walk some weight into the hands. We lean weight towards the right side to that leg that we've been resting on. And we'll just go straight into, again, some windshield. If that feels cold to you, if that feels aligned, you might just find some stillness. Whatever is calling you is where you should go. And we're going to stay with this direction, the same leg, with another stretch. We're going to come into half butterfly, a nice hamstring stretch. So what we want to do is have maybe a blanket. I don't have a blanket on me right now, but a block or something that can prop up my hips very slightly. And then I want to find that exterior rotation where the hips are rotating forward, down, or you can imagine tucking the tailbone under. So rather than sitting up tall, I'm sitting forward, leaning over, and I can lie down. I'm going to bring my left leg all the way in. I'm going to keep the right leg out, and I'm going to lean forward into this one. A nice stretch. So again, you might use your props, the bolster, a blanket, a block, something to create a platform for the forehead to rest to. And you just want to soften softly forward and down. Soften gradually might be more appropriate. You might find this one a nice time to reconnect to the breath, inviting with each inhale the idea of deepening and expanding the range and quality of incoming breath. And on each exhale, slowing down and softening the release of the breath. remain for another 4 breaths or so, softening more and more, lengthening out the exhales. When you're ready, gradually, slowly rise, use the hands, take the props to the side. Just want to release the left leg, both legs out long, give them a little shake. Maybe lean back into the arms, a little afterglow pose, just to allow the effects to sink in. Nice work. I'm going to sit up for our opposite side. So it'll be the right leg that stays forward for your pigeon pose, and left leg that goes back. Pardon me. Left leg forward, right leg back. So your option was, again, to have the bolster or a prop, just a block under the left hip, or just maybe flat to the floor if your hips are very open. And then very gradually, slowly, stabilizing from foot, knee is firmly on the floor, back leg is extended as long as the comfort is there. Not forcing yourself into any pose, just allowing your body to respond and allow you to gauge the depth that's appropriate. And you just want to slowly come down, maybe resting your head again on a blanket, bolster, prop, block, whatever works. Just to get that nice, calming, down-regulating effect of the gentle pressure on the forehead between the eyebrows. Can we begin to relax into shoulders, face, jaw, neck, chest, back. And soften into the abdomen, low back, hips, thighs, feet. We will remain here for another 4 or so breaths. just use the hands very slowly to pick ourselves up. We're going to lean towards the hip that is stacked on the floor, removing any props, and then going into that moment of just windshield wiping through the hips, getting that nice movement through the hip joint. Nice. Okay, so this time the left leg is stretched out straight. We bring the right foot into the inner left thigh for our half butterfly pose. Getting a little bit of inner thigh and under thigh action here. Once the hips feel as though they are finding that forward rotation, we can set up and slowly, always slowly with this one, allow ourselves to find our way down, forward fold. And always remembering that one leg might be a little tighter than the other, and the low back might be causing this, the thighs, hips. Doesn't matter, we just need to be gentle in the Yin Yoga practice. We trust in the practice to do all the unlocking and the intelligent work, and it's the mind's job to get out of the way. So rather than trying to diagnose, understand, investigate, we soften into focusing on breath, surrendering into breath, and releasing, slowing down breath. We'll remain here for another 4 or so breaths. When you're ready, using the hands to softly pick yourself back up. Moving the blocks, props, taking the legs out to the front, giving them a little shake. And leaning back, puffing up the chest, taking a moment just to hang out. Feeling into the echo of the practice this far. Alright, we're going to roll ourselves down onto our back body for a little twist. You might keep the props handy, may or may not come in handy. What you want to do is just slowly come onto the back, Bring right knee up for a squeeze, bring left knee up for a squeeze. Give them both a bit of a hug with the elbows and a gentle rock side to side. Then when you're ready, we're going to release the left leg once again, keep the right, and we're going to just take it across the body. So with our twist, you might want to just adjust your hips so the hips are further to the right side of the mat, creating a little bit more space for the rotation of your top leg. Allowing your shoulders to heavy, your right shoulder in particular to anchor down, reaching your arms out nice and wide. And here we could take the bolster, the block, under the knee to support it so that it's not too strong if the weight of the leg pulling to the floor is creating any comfort. We don't want to be fighting any of these stretches rather than just getting into that happy edge enough without being any effect on the breath or gritting of teeth. If it feels good, turn your gaze out in the opposite direction. And we can slowly take a last breath or two here. Just want to eventually bring that right leg back to center. Give it a squeeze. Bringing up the second leg. Just remaining there gently. Soft rock left and right. Take your feet down to the floor. We just want to neutralize the back. And then when you're ready, right leg extends, left knee comes back to the chest. And we're going to go over to the opposite side. So take a nice deep breath in. It might feel more comfortable on exhale to look for that deepening of the twist. Don't be afraid to step your hip back towards the back of the mat, creating a little bit more space for the knee rotating over. And of course, anchoring down through your left shoulder. Take any props or blocks under your knee and soften into the breath. Allow yourself to be gradually releasing tension or feeling the weight of the body to increase with each exhale. Allow that top leg to be heavy, the left shoulder to be heavy. Soften in. When you're ready, taking a last breath there, we'll slowly begin to bring the knees back to center, releasing the low back nice and flat. Just pausing. From here, I would invite you, if you had longer time on the mat today, to come into legs up the wall, using the bolster under the hips, or another forward fold with both legs. Otherwise, for us, we move into Shavasana to end out our practice. I'll be here for 1 minute. You can remain as long as you like, allowing yourself to completely surrender, to release, to let go, to soften into your body, to surrender to the earth, the floor beneath, and to experience the glow or the effects of this practice today. Thank you. Namaste.